Shalom, it's your brother Yerah, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahawadash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Most High will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom to the men of the Lord out there that are preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom. Shalom. And I have another quick article. Really some good news. I'll be quick. It says Steve Bing, 55, jumps to his death from his 27th floor apartment in L.A. Filmmaker and philanthropist Steve Bing has died at age 55. TMZ has covered this, it looks like. Now, this is sad. This is Esau being a two-time loser. And this Edomite here, he bit the dust because he, as I'll get in the scriptures, they're the lowly of all nations, and that's ultimately why the Most High is going to do away with them. After 1,000 year of slavery, 1,000 year sentence. It says Bing began his career in Hollywood after inheriting 600 million from his estate mogul grandfather during junior year in college. Okay, so put this together. This is an Edomite, in rulership, 55, fairly young, you know. He still got a lot of life left to live. He's rich, you know. he's put that together, and he's jumped out the window and killed himself, which everything is, the will of the Heavenly Father. But let's keep going. It says, as an investor, Bing was integral. Remembering Tom Hanks' Polar Express to life, contributing 100 million. So he's a movie producer as well, outside of inheriting that real estate business from his pops. And says he shares an 18-year-old son named Damien with actress Elizabeth Hurley. So he's connected to the Hollywood world, married to her, and he's a very, very rich guy. And in all of this, he bit the dust. It says, let's get a scripture. Let's get a precept. Actually, now we know this is ultimately what's going down, because ultimately, they have to mention the coronavirus being linked to this, because this place is at an all-time low because of this virus. This is Ecclesiastes 12, 3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and he would be considered a keeper of the house, because he's an Edomite, and he's an elite one with lots and lots of money, who's connected to people at the top, in one way, shape, or form. This man had an unimaginable amount of privilege in his own kingdom, and he still, hopped out the window, because this was prophesied, that these times would come, and it says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, because unemployment is about to hit 50 million pretty soon, like these jobs are gone. There are a lot of jobs that aren't coming back at all, So verse 4, and it says, and the door shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So this place is going to hit a very, very low state, and that's exactly what's happened with the economy just being wiped out, basically, especially the middle class. Really, it's only the middle class, because the rich are just going to buy up all those assets for cheap now. So you're going to have an ultra rich and an ultra poor pretty soon, if we're not already there, as shown in the numbers, So ultimately, that's the state that's on this place that's causing guys like this, with all of this wealth, to bug out, even in rulership, This place is doomed, When I saw this guy's story, this made me think about the account in Isaiah 14. I'll just start at verse 13. It says, for thou said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the clouds. I will be like the Most High, because ultimately that's a baseline demeanor of Esau Edom. You know, he's just swelling with pride and envy of the Most High, and he wants to be God. You know, he wants to figure out the heavens. You know, because ultimately he wants to replace the Most High. He wants to be the Most High. That's the baseline demeanor. Verse 15 it says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So that's what this guy is. When you look at his story, you know, started off rich, inherited, born with a silver spoon in your mouth, shall they say? Uh, and then what ends up happening at the end of his life? The Most High puts the spirit on him for him to end up ending himself, you know, and that's what this represents, you know, because Esau is the one who created these nuclear weapons, you know, he built them out of pride, but that was the Most High moving him in that direction, you know, because really those are weapons of the Most High to destroy Esau Edom, even though he has the pride of thinking that he made those weapons, you know, that he's going to rule with these weapons all over the earth, you know. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And that's what this guy jumping off the roof means, you know. And then when you see it, you know, verse 16 says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right. Because this the man that had $600 million head start in life and is also a Edomite, you know, been rich all of his life. And he can't find it in himself to find any kind of meaning in life, you know, that he wouldn't kill himself, you know. And there could be other things related to this that hasn't been brought out yet, but ultimately we know we're dealing with uh, a creature that the Most High has put a wicked spirit on. They're not right, you know. There's something off about them. The scriptures say that spirit's not upright in them, you know, because they're also in this same spirit that Habakkuk is talking about. Because verse Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yea, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, either keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. So these are characteristics of the devil, you know. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Because that's what America is, this giant melting pot. These people cannot be satisfied, you know. So like I skipped verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. And that's true, you know. There's just something off about them. But the just shall live by faith. So like that, brothers. So that's what we're dealing with here with Esau Edom. We're dealing with a very, very low integrity individual, you know. And I'll get Daniel as the final point to prove that this is proof of how the Most High moves, you know. The Most High is saying here through Daniel that he's the one who decides uh, who's going to rule, you know. And Esau Edom is the Most High proving that out. He set the worst lowly of men, the weak men, you know, guys like this. And he can set them and rule over the entire planet Earth to show you his power, you know. When you really look at it, the Esau being in rulership is the Most High proving his power, you know. Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. So the Most High does things out in the earth to show people he's ultimately in charge, you know, of who's going to rule. He set up Alexander the Great, you know, that he goat, you know, to take down the Persians, you know, prophesied it and everything to prove that the Most High is in control of this thing. You know, that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Hey, that's cold, you know. So if you're wondering why these men are in rulership and why they're trashing the planet Earth and just being a damn terrorist, well, the Most High set this up. Shalaki Willis. So we're almost out of here because, Lord willing, we see more and more stories like this that these elites, they start to lose it, man. You know, they start to lose it. It's like it said in Salakia Ecclesiastes, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble. You know, we're in those times, brother. So these are exciting times when you see stuff like this. So I just wanted to share that. It's some good news. Hopefully y'all were edified. You know, shalom to you, brothers. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachakwadash Wa Abab Abal.